Welcome to Creative Spaces Podcast with Guy Zwick, Chief Creative Officer of Highway 85 Creative. In each episode, we will discuss creative ways to define your space and build your brand.
So welcome to another edition of the Creative Spaces Podcast. I'm sat across the table from Guy Zwick. We have a special guest by way of Santa Cruz, San Francisco, New Hampshire, Vermont, Sacramento, and now, where do you live now?
Glendale.
In Glendale. We have a special guest on the show. I'll let Guy do the introductions.
Deebo, as we call him.
Yep.
Dustin is an amazing podcaster, has a viral we were just talking about how he was dropping it hot back in the day on downloads. And so I just thought, what an amazing thing just to have Dustin come in, do his thing. And just so y'all know, Scott has no clue what his thing is. And we'll see how long it takes this audience to figure out what his thing is.
Yeah.
So if it seems like it's coming from left field, well, it is coming from left field. So,
I mean,
and he's wearing a Giant shirt, so maybe that's why I said left field. It could be coming from right
San
field.
Francisco. It's right field, right?
No, it is a great stadium. By the way, speaking about the Giants,
yes,
is the one huge takeaway going to a game there, if you've never been to a Giants game, is the garlic fries. And
Absolutely.
the whole stadium smells like garlic.
Yeah, Gilroy garlic fries.
I've never been to the Gilbert the garlic
amazing.
festival.
It's
No,
amazing.
but
and it's just a great place to see a ball game, anyways. So.
I remember I brought my mom, my dad, my aunt, and uncle to a game. Like it was in the middle of summer. We left from Campbell. It's like 95, and I packed up the car with some big old sweatshirts. And my aunt's like, "What are you on drugs?" I'm like, "Just wait."
Yeah.
So we get to the game. Everything's fine. Sun sets, fog rolls up, 4 degrees. She goes, "Thank you." It's a big difference.
Yes.
All right. Well, before we get going, let's talk. Tell me about what you're doing. I mean, what you do at Highway 85. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Give me some time, man. Some light. Yeah. No, I just got hired on as a production artist, like graphic designer. I help out with a lot of like the print. Graphic design, and then I do a lot of just the production with Sean Green, the other superhero downstairs.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have a dynamic duo, a tag team, if you will.
Right.
And
It's just this amazing use of their brain power and their creative power, and yet physically with their hands, and they're just they're right down there.
Talking a little bit about 2017 and how you guys have done a really great job with some key hires and great clients and some really good success stories, which would then lead into let's talk about 2018. But he's one of the recent success stories, and we will weave in the fact that you had your own award-winning podcasting show.
That's right.
You guys tested all kinds of marijuana on the show.
No.
You were. This is really good, man.
Yeah, we don't know if it was a good show, but we laughed. Yeah. No, a few years ago, me and one of my buddies, we were way into wanting to podcast, loved the kind of like radio DJ thing, and we decided about maybe like 3 years ago to dip into the podcasting world, and we kind of did a real niche podcast where we covered we covered the way that wrestling coverage was covered. So we covered so we basically covered the guys that were covering wrestling.
Oh wow.
Yeah, really niche. And
hold on. So the guys that were all right, this is you and a buddy.
Yeah.
Talking
like about
So on site, mobile, in your own little studio. What would you? Guys?
No, we had he turned one of his bedrooms into a full-fledged studio.
Right on.
And this guy is like loves gadgets, love everything. Like so, this was
it was a pro setup.
Right. And then we just kind of would basically just talk about the way that the guys are covering wrestling, how they're writing, how they're what they're talking about, and then we just kind of like decided, hey, is this guy like out to lunch, or is he on to something?
Okay.
And so we just kind of did that, and mainly we were promoting like anyone that wrote anything that's like really cool.
Sure.
We just wanted to promote it to the masses, and it became this really kind of grassroots sensation.
What was the name of the podcast?
The podcast is Talking Sheet.
Talking. Is this still out there?
We just recorded this weekend.
Did you really?
And we hadn't been doing it for 8 months.
Right.
Life happens, and we just did our award show.
Really?
So we gave away all these awards. It's kind of like a people's choice.
Sure.
We don't pick it. The people do. And it's a big hit because not only are you're basically the guys that you're talking about, they're going to listen.
Sure.
They're like, hey, I want to hear my name. I want to hear my website. The guys that read and listen to those people, they just kind of like our vibe, and they just want instead of like going out and searching everywhere, I'll just listen to Les and Hugh talk about what the week was. And then the wrestlers itself would they would listen because they're like, well, I'm sick of this guy always on me. I want to hear those guys on him.
You have to be into the wrestling scene.
You do have to be into the wrestling scene. Right. It's not always that enjoyable.
Right.
But there's different aspects of wrestling you can watch. Obviously the big boy, WWE, and then all the independent wrestling and New Japan and all that stuff. So
I used to work in Stanford where McMahon was, right? So the old school.
Oh, in Connecticut,
right there.
We're trying to kind of make it work again now that we're remotely, and I live in Arizona, he lives in California. Still trying to do it, trying to kind of get the wheels cranking again.
But I want him to be more of a participant in ours. Yeah,
and
he's got a laid back Cali feel, and he has these little zingers he throws out from time to time.
Zingers are good. No, and plus in the professional capacity.
This is your introduction,
but
it won't be the last.
You're a graphic designer, plus you're a production person too. Mm-hmm. So one thing I want to ask you about the wrestling thing. There's a movie out there called Glow right now, Gorgeous Ladies. It's sort of almost a documentary style movie about the ladies of
Gorgeous
wrestling,
Ladies of wrestling.
Is that going to be on one of your podcasts soon? One of your
well, no. I mean, during when it was kind of recorded, we did talk about it a little bit and promote it. And who doesn't love retro '80s stuff? I do. So actually, that is a good series. I know that they're going to do a second season. So that's something cool to check out. And then if you're just kind of into it, ESPN did a 30 for 30 on Ric Flair.
Yes.
Woo! So that's a cool thing.
I knew that was coming, and it still got me.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But all right, so let me just flip the script just a little bit. In your capacity right now, you and Sean, you've been here how long?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And you guys found each other on the Rock hotline, chat room. What?
Yeah. We were in a chat room for. No.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
Craig's listed it, right? So basically, So what do you? So that's awesome. Yes.
No, I just nothing.
And
I'm letting that one be.
No, but here's the overall conversation today was for us to talk a little. It's end of the year, new year beginning. You've done a lot of things in 2017, including hiring some really cool people, including getting on some brand new clients, learning about your processes, and you're taking that into 2018. So Dustin's a great example of
Mean Gene.
Yeah, that's Mean Gene.
It's Mean Gene. He's gonna turn into Mean Gene right now for the rest of the podcast.
Okay, good to know. Who's Mean Gene?
Okay.
Yeah. So Mean Gene. So Guy, while we're all here talking, just give me.
That was the initial idea was to have him come in here without you knowing anything, and him just to give. Where he got moved just to make wrestling references and tell stories about old matches that made no sense was going to be funny. So I think
let's hear a story.
Let's
hear a story.
Oh, well, I mean...
Give me one story.
Well, I will give you I'd say if you were going to check out wrestling and you didn't want to check out WWE, I would say go with New Japan. It's pretty badass. It's strong style wrestling, so they're real, hitting you real hard. And, you got fun names like Tanahashi and Okada. And,
that's fun to say.
Yeah.
Okada.
Naito and Tenzan. So that is, I'd say New Japan is, and especially I think they have Wrestle Kingdom. Their WrestleMania is coming up. And so that's a cool thing to check out.
Where are you going to check it out at?
You can check it out on New Japan World online.
Online?
Yeah, so you got to do a subscription.
What am I seeing on Access TV? Is it Access TV? Is that what I'm seeing too on Access TV?
You are.
So I've seen some of it.
Yeah, and
they they are a little more aggressive.
They are, yeah. And it's kind of fresh because you're not seeing John Cena. But they put up some killer shows. They're real long matches. I'd say another thing to check out would be the G1 Climax. Is basically.
Don't you have that look when you said that? Did I not tell you?
Yeah, you did.
He goes, oh.
No, it's just like a tournament where there's brackets and all. It's a long process, and it usually.
But it's a tournament, but it's still orchestrated. It's still the people going into these guys know who wins the match.
Well, they do, but we don't as fans. Okay, but cool. So
here's a small antidote. I can't think of his name right now. It's going to come to me. He lives here in Scottsdale with one of the Daniel Bryant. He rolls over at the MMA lab. Wow. Yeah, so I see him from time to time.
Daniel Bryant.
Yeah. Okay. Nice guy, quiet, just comes in, does his thing. Yeah.
I need to sort of bring this back to you, Mr. Z, guys. Wick, seriously, we talked once, maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
I got to go back. I actually, since you brought up Ric Flair, I watched Ric Flair work out at the Ultimate Warrior gym back in the 90s. And Nash. I mean, there were so many guys that came through that place at that time. That was badass to be, in your workout and then look over and see three
Dustin,
WWE guys just in there for a few days training.
No
Not
drugs.
Not even being here to compete.
What's the name of your podcast again?
Talking Sheet.
Talking Sheet. So 60 minutes in, it's all about wrestling, talking sheet, and
I need to talk about what you just said because this might be the quick platform to talk about. But what made me want to reference what you just said about giving some thanks. It came from the fact that we actually had some clients in the last couple of years leave us or fire us. So let's talk about that. It didn't, in this growth of Highway 85 doing so well, we left some people behind. We failed a few people, and those are what hurt. Maybe that's not what you want to talk about, but that was the catalyst to just even talking about being so thankful for the clients that we have, and then also thankful for those clients that a few of them that had left us and kind of got caught in the mess of our growth. And I'm super thankful that they got us to where we were and want them back if they ever want to come back. And but I don't know. So I have a lot of gratitude for making it to this next hump where we're not just a small mom and pop, entrepreneur's little, sole proprietor business, and we're becoming a nice company who's doing bigger and bigger projects. And, but it started by picking up pebbles with 0 in Scottsdale with me, as we talked about before, sitting there. And now, a staff of 20 full-time, and right. We're growing with a second building and all the stuff we're going to talk about. Yeah. But the gratitude part of it is I use this platform to say thank you and I'm sorry. And I did say this personally to some of these people that we kind of failed in this huge growth mode, that we appreciate you and that we're thankful that we had you as clients, and we're thankful for all the awesome clients that we've gained since then. Right. And just
that's the reason. The reason I brought it up is because it came across pretty sincere to me, and it's probably no surprise to Dustin. He's been working with you for 3 months. As any company goes from being just, hey, listen, I got to make some money, I want to help you out. And when you're young, or when a company's young and you're hiring people and people don't work out and then they do work out, things are pretty haphazard. But as you kind of force through that, and then you get to the point where you guys did in 2017, we don't talk numbers, but you made. Your company did record business for yourself this year, right? But then it forced you guys to rethink. Okay, we're here. Where are we going next year?
And let's give some thanks to former employees and team members, because you know what, and that's part of that growth too.
Exactly. And I've worked alongside some of them.
You've worked alongside of them, and in some instances they've gone off to other things and started families. In other instances, as we grow, right. And they're so vital in their roles back in when there's 3, 4, 5, 7 of us. It's changed, and we've grown in a different direction, and they're in a different direction, and that's not a bad thing.
No, but
you always want to bring everybody all the way along, and then you realize once you get a little bigger that you grow up in all kinds of ways.
No, but you see this all the time in the sports world,
thankfulness, and love all them, and
Thank you to everybody that got you where you are. And all things didn't work out perfectly, but you are where you are right now very much because of the customers and the people you've had alongside you the whole ride.
Yes.
Because I remember when we first talked about this, you might not have heard an earlier podcast, but when he first started, he was in Scottsdale. It was just him. And when he had clients or prospects come into his office, he would ask friends and family members to sit in, make believe they were workers, to actually make it look like they were an actual shop, which they were. And fast forward to X million dollars later and some really high-end clients and really high-end retail spaces that you worked with, 2017 was a really good year in terms of asking yourselves, all right, are we set up to grow for next year? Do we have the right people and processes in place? And in answering those, you had to make some changes. But so in 2017, would you give me?
We hit it. We hit. Not only did we hit a mission, a goal that we had that was a 10-year goal. We hit that in 11-year mark, but we've hit goals, our initial mission, and we've redefined all that now to the next step for us, right, which is even bigger. Our purpose still remains the same. It's divining spaces because we love it. But we've realized as we've grown, we want to keep this culture and this special, that boutique feel that we have, right, and that can do anything, and willing to work with the client in all kinds of creative capacities and providing more value than expected. But like, as you see right behind you, I'm going to read our core values. Provide more value than expected, driven to achieve more than yesterday, creative, flexible, collaborative. We don't want to lose that when we're working and getting bigger. Positivity makes everything possible. We, any negativity in this office or a bad egg, it will squash it, will crush it. It's just not going to work in our environment. We honor and value each of our strengths and input. We're a strength-based organization, and we hire people based on that. That's an important thing. And the last one is we go pro and we do it the right way. And
actually, let's make sure we take a picture of that. We'll
sure.
Put that on the actual write-up. So before we get into 2018, let me ask you this: yes or no? You're thankful you're thankful for sure this whole year of the people you've met and the friends you've met along the way who are here and not here. Correct? You're enthusiastic about what's coming up next?
Immensely.
And you have a lot of lessons learned. So 2017 was a pretty big pivot. It was a pivotal year for you in terms of growth and people and success.
The word for 2017 is perfect.
So if I ask you the same question next year and you hit all your goals, what do you say?
Perfect.
let's end with that.
No, you know what my word? You want to know what my word for 2018 is? Because it's funny you said this. Because my wife asked me, "What is?" In our homeschool group with all the moms, they're picking one word that describes what they were about in the year, and I didn't hesitate, and I said dominate.
Yeah.
So this past year was perfect in all the processes and the team members and the adjustments we made, and the growth was perfect. The team is perfect. The clients are perfect. The projects were perfect. Everything is perfect.
All right.
This next goal is to dominate.
All right, from perfection to domination. You've heard it here first. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to Creative Spaces Podcast. For more information about Highway 85 Creative, visit us at highway85creative.com.